after getting absolutely smacked by the Miami Heat yet again for a 36-point loss. Billy Donovan had some brutally honest words yet again about the team, but many people are questioning, when is Billy Donovan going to be brutally honest about himself? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Plus, we're going to talk about how Ayo Dosunmu was putting together a six-man of the year type season and preview today's game against the Washington Wizards. We're going to do all that, plus dive into the mailbag right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. I want to start this off with a quote by Billy Donovan, which he said after his post-game press conference. He said this: "It was a game where in every facet we didn't know what we were walking into." Now, the response that I have to that is probably going to sound a little bit harsh. Billy Donovan, whose job is it to have them prepared for what you're about to walk into? Like, make no mistake about it. The players executed badly. And I'm not going to sit here and act like the players and their performance did not play a part into this. And even if you have the best game plan in the world, your players don't execute it, it's going to look like shit out there, despite how good the game plan looks on paper. But I can't give Billy Donovan the benefit of the doubt here, because while we saw some really good coaching from Billy Donovan at the start of the season, the first 8 or so games of the season, I think it was the best coaching I've ever seen Billy Donovan do in the Bulls as the head coach of the Bulls. But this is not just a one-season thing. This is not just something that we've just seen over this recent stretch. This is something that throughout Billy Donovan's, 6 years here in Chicago, we have seen the same thing every single time. Billy Donovan gets outcoached by coaches and does not know how to stop the bleeding. Now, I'm not saying that Billy Donovan came in here and he tried to make no adjustments in this 36-point absolutely shellacking that the Chicago Bulls took from the Miami Heat. I'm not saying that, and I would never say that. But at the same time, we've seen way too often while Billy Donovan has been here, the Bulls get just outworked or out game planned or out prepared or whatever you want to label it. And so this is a great quote from Billy Donovan, and it's a great place to hold your team accountable, because in every facet, you got to know what you're walking into. But whose job is it to prepare them for that? It's the coaching staff. It's Billy Donovan. It's Dan Craig. It's Wes Unseld. It's John Bryant. It is literally your guys' job as head coaches to have your team ready and prepared. And what we saw last night is that a team, and I'll say this, the first quarter, the Bulls going into a zone defense, they tried to slow down the Miami Heat there, and it felt like it worked in the first quarter. But the Bulls, after the Miami Heat went on a drastic run, the Bulls never really rebounded mentally from it. There are times where we went on stretches as well, right? But that we never really rebounded from it mentally, and I look at coaching for that. The Miami Heat looked at the things that the Bulls were doing and said, all right, bet, we took their best shot. Let's go ahead and adjust it and see what they do here. The Bulls never had that level of it, and that's part of the problem, right? And I know a lot of people, it's easy to pile on Billy Donovan. And, a lot of people ask, well, when is Billy being fired? All this type of stuff. I don't talk about that because I know it's not happening, right? Billy Donovan isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And that's just the front office, the ownership. They've shown their hand. They love Billy Donovan. For what it's worth as well, the coaches love Billy Donovan. But a 28-7 run in the second quarter that completely blew open that game. You were only down by 4 when that run started. You ended that run down 64-39. Then the Bulls went on a 13-6 point run, which they got the lead down to 8 heading into the half. But then the Miami Heat, as they typically do against Chicago Bulls, came out in the second half. 11-4 run starting early in that. The Bulls matched that with an 11-2 run. They finished the third quarter with a 15-2 run. These long droughts that the Bulls go into where they can't score are absolutely killing the team. So Billy Donovan likes to issue challenges. Who's issuing a challenge to Billy Donovan to coach better? Who's doing that? And that's where, again, it comes down to organizational acceptance. We are too busy accepting the fact of these type of losses. Like somebody needs to be, and maybe it is happening. It's not like we know, but it seems like there's too much acceptance of when games like this happen and us not looking at it and being like, Billy, what is going on here? You are the head coach. And that's going to be something that keeps hurting the Chicago Bulls in this. Now, I'm not going to act like this is every game. I'm not going to act like I expect to have this stuff like this bad to happen against every coach. Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in league history. But it's just too often, and it's always the Miami Heat, which just makes it just balloon and snowball. The fact that it keeps being the Miami Heat, that keep having our number, that keep giving us losses like this, we got to get it together. We got to get it together, bro. But with that said, let's move on from that. Like, hopefully we see better coaching from Billy Donovan over this next stretch. We're facing off, I think, 5 of the next 7 games are against teams below 500. So this is where the Bulls can start making a move. Let's start seeing what they can do, right? Let's start seeing that. But let's move on from that. So I do want to talk about something positively, and that is Ayo Dosunmu. I've been highlighting players here recently. Talked about Josh Giddey in the season that he's having, where he's shaped up to be an all-star. Talked about the Coby White in his 2 games back, where he has been the shot in the arm that the Bulls have needed offensively, picking up seemingly where he left off last season. I can't wait till his minutes restriction and back-to-back restrictions are removed. But Ayo Dosunmu has been one of the more consistent players on the Chicago Bulls team this season. And he's doing so all in a role where he doesn't get a lot of shots, right? He doesn't need a lot of shots. He's doing it offensively. He's doing it defensively. And, I was asked a lot at the beginning of the season, could Ayo Dosunmu win 6th Man of the Year? And I always go back to, you got to be a winning team. Somebody pushed back and then said, well, Ben Gordon. And I was like, well, the Bulls won 47 games the year that Ben Gordon won 6th Man of the Year, right? So you typically still have to be a winning season, have a winning season to do that. Now, the numbers that Ayo Dosunmu is putting up is quite amazing and excellent. 16 points per game, 49% shooting from 3, 57% shooting from the field. That's part of the reason why he's able to have the scoring punch that he has, is because he is so efficient from the field that he doesn't need a lot of shots to put up decent numbers. The 3 assists, 2.5 rebounds, a half a steal he's putting up per game. Ayo Dosunmu is absolutely balling out right now for the Chicago Bulls. And there are times as well where he is the energy for this team. And that's not, people that have seen Ayo Dosunmu play, that shouldn't be shocking for you, right? Ayo Dosunmu was really always, last couple of years since he's been coming off the bench, has been that guy. And it's been good to see Ayo as well come back and rebound from that shoulder injury that ended his season early, and to be able to give the Bulls this type of season, right? So shout out to Ayo Dosunmu for what he is doing on the court for the Chicago Bulls, and he is really stepping into that void left by like an Alex Caruso that you need from this team. The Bulls right now are a +6 when Ayo Dosunmu's on the court. +6. That's really good, right? Right now he has an estimated wins added of 15, which would be the highest of his NBA career as well. And he's shooting, effective field goal percentage has gone up 2.4%. Ayo has just become a much more well-rounded and refined player. And this goes to when players understand their role and what's asked of them in their role, that's where they can kind of focus on bringing those things. This is all coming at a time where Ayo Dosunmu was an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, which is really good to see as well, right? And when you look at the money, he's only on a $7.5 million contract. This is a guy that is absolutely, the value for Ayo Dosunmu is crazy. And the role that he plays on this team with space on the floor, those type of things, has been great. I'll tell you what, the offense is better when Ayo Dosunmu's on the court because of the way that Ayo Dosunmu plays basketball. And that is something that you can't take away from Ayo. And so seeing Ayo have the season that he's having is great. Hopefully the Bulls continue to have an above 500 record, so maybe he can be in that talk for it. I think another thing that's also creative about what Ayo does is that depending on the lineup, he's fine playing off the ball. He's fine being more ball dominant, really depending on what you need him to do in that role. And that's really increasing his opportunities and his chances out there as well. He's creating almost 10 points per game off assist also, which when you pair that with him, that means he's a part of about 25 points per game, which is really solid overall, right? So Ayo Dosunmu is finding ways to be effective, finding ways in just about any lineup to be impactful for this Bulls team. And I just think you can't overlook that for a player like Ayo. So, shout out to Ayo. He did start in last night's game. I don't know why they made the change of starting him then, right? He did respond with that for 23 points. And like I said many times before, Isaac Okoro has not been a player to me where I've seen it. And I don't think that starting role should be, firm for him. Now, I do think they're going to wait to see Coby back in the lineup before they make any changes like that permanently. But, Ayo Dosunmu's making a case for himself, and we'll see where the season does end for Ayo Dosunmu. All right, with that said, let's get into the next topic, the last playing topic before we get into the mailbag. The Bulls do have a game tonight against the Washington Wizards. And I'll usually go into a statistical breakdown. I like to look at the offense and defense of the team that we're playing off against. At this point, I'm not giving any of that. And I'm sorry, because at this point, the Bulls need to just come out and show some damn fight in the second half of a back-to-back. Act like you want to be there. Act like you care about winning these basketball games. Act like you care about what's happened out here on the court against you the last couple of games. Act like you gave a damn. Can you do that? That's what I want to see more importantly than anything, right? Regardless of whatever the Washington Wizards do. I know they don't have a great record. I think they have one win on the season. I don't care about none of that. I need to see the Bulls come out in this game and act like they are playing the damn OKC Thunder. That's how they need to play. Show some damn fight in the second of a back-to-back. I don't want to hear nothing about being tired. I don't want to hear nothing about it being a trap game. I don't care about none of that. This is a young, scrappy Wizards team that you cannot play down to at all. So let's see some damn defense. Let's see some execution on the offensive side of the ball. You set out Coby White in a Miami Heat game, so Coby White better come out blazing in this damn game. Go out here and get a damn win and get a decisive win for once. I don't want to see, listen, no knock on the Wizards at all. I don't want to see this game be a game where, oh my God, it's a 4-point game coming down to the fourth quarter. I want to see my starters sitting by the fourth quarter because you come out here and you've taken out the frustration from last night's loss on the Washington Wizards. That's what I want to see this Bulls team do. I'm tired of the bullshit. Go out here and get a big victory against a team that should be an inferior opponent. And if you dare to play down to the Washington Wizards, I hope you lose. And then I hope that it causes the front office to ask themselves some serious questions about their bubblegum Billy Donovan that they refuse to answer serious questions on. That's what I hope happens. A little bit petty for me, but it is what it is. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the mailbag portion of today's episode. This one's from Vikram.
What's up, Haize? It's Vikram. I was thinking about like the centers and how we look like a really good team right now, but we are like a center or like a defensive minded center who has some like offensive skills. It doesn't need to be an offensive minded player, just like maybe like an Isaiah Hardenstein level of center before we are like I feel like a respectable competitive playoff team that AK wants. And I personally think that even if we don't get it like at the trade deadline, we don't make that big splash for Anthony Davis, there are still two really big options that we could go after come off season. And maybe this could happen sooner. I don't see it happening sooner than the off season, but if we don't draft a center in the draft, we don't get Walker Kessler in free agency. What do you think about like if the Grizzlies don't work out a Jaren Jackson trade, or with the Clippers maybe a Zubac trade? I feel like Zubac could be like that perfect center for us. Just saying, like the Clippers, they were on this 2-year window where Harden, Kawhi, they go all in with them for the last 2 years before they can just reset their like clock and just like rebuild however they want, because this is the last year they owe that pick to OKC, and then they can reset. Maybe we give up like a pick in this draft, maybe like I don't know, like some quality role players, or like and then maybe another pick or something like that. I don't know, something like that, like maybe 1 or 2 picks, maybe 2 picks, because Zubac is like almost an all-star level center. And then maybe like a quality role player, and maybe that gets it done. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I really like Zubac. Jaren Jackson Jr. would be a big get, really hard to get, but he would solve a lot of problems, I feel like, in terms of rim protection. But he also gives up a lot of fouls, doesn't rebound great, so he wouldn't be like that perfect center for us, in my opinion. Zubac, though, I do think is a great option if the Clippers do decide to go on like a rebuild. But yeah, just let me know what you think.
Here's the thing. When we come up with trade ideas, let's make sure that we're coming up with trade ideas that make sense and not just because we want the player. Jaren Jackson Jr. isn't a center. He doesn't want to play center. And as you mentioned towards the end of that, he's not a great rebounder. And I would go on to say, per his size and his activity, he's actually probably a bad rebounder. The fouls are crazy as well. He is a great shot blocker. And that is something that could definitely help this Bulls team. But I don't think we need to overlook some of the glaring things. Like, if we go after and trade for a player that's going to take what it takes to get Jaren Jackson Jr., they better be bringing at least 80 to 90% of what we need at a center position. He's not a center. He doesn't rebound well, which is definitely something that we do need. Also, he's not a great passer. So for that, I don't know if I'm in on JJJ as a trade target, mainly just because of what it would take to get him and then what that return is likely to be on that trade, right? Now, as far as Zubac, I don't mind Zubac. He is 28 years old, and so there's a question about what do you give up for a player like that that doesn't quite fit your timeline, but could be the perfect stopgap center until you do find your center of the future, so I'll give you that. His contract's only $18 million, so it's not a hard contract to match. So there is some possibilities there. I wouldn't mind Zubac at all on this Bulls team. I just don't think he's the long-term answer yet either. He does give you some of the things you need now, but he's definitely not the long-term answer. So they would still have to find that long-term, and thus because of that, I don't know how much they give up in that trade. I don't know what the Clippers would want for Zubac either, right? So great voicemail there, though, Vikram. I appreciate you. We're moving into the next one, man. This one's from Carlos.
Hey, what's up, Haize? This is Carlos. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Appreciate your show, man. Keep up the hard work. Just real quick, man, I got to talk to you about Ayo Dosunmu. Because, man, after watching that Portland game, I'm pissed. Like, how are you going to tell me that Billy puts in Dalen Terry before Ayo Dosunmu? Ayo's killing him right now. He's shooting, what, 40, 50, 90 on the split, field goals, they're three-pointers, free throws, 15 points per game. How you going to put Dalen Terry? That guy can't shoot a beach ball into a pool, man. Something's up. They're doing my boy Ayo wrong. You know, he's one of the top 5 scorers, too. Look at the stats. Him, Coby, Giddey, Vooch, Buzelis. Between them, they're averaging 95 points a game. I know you're going to say, hey, be patient, or, you know, Billy wants them on the second unit, but this is the reason they're struggling in the first and fourth quarters. I've been watching all the games, man. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Peace.
All right, Carlos. So Ayo Dosunmu had a minutes restriction in the game that you mentioned. He didn't have it last night, but he had a minutes restriction. That's why Dalen Terry was in. We got to make sure that we're looking these things up. And I know not everybody has a lot of time to do that. Hell, that's why I'm here, right? But he had a minutes restriction. That's why you saw Dalen Terry in that game down the stretch over Ayo, because Ayo had a minutes restriction. So that's why you see that, right? But Ayo did start last night, and I don't think that it really stopped the slow starts, but Ayo did look good in there. And, you know, like I said before, I don't think Okoro's played a way that necessarily solidifies him. But, yes, you said it. Billy Donovan does like bringing his energy off the bench, but I do think that could change once Trey, Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, all these guys are back healthy. Maybe that does change a little bit. Maybe it doesn't, but we'll see. We'll see. I do think Ayo could really help that starting lineup quite a bit, but then, like, how much of that umph do we lose off that bench unit, I guess, is the question there. All right, let's get into the next one, man. This one is from Todd.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Todd. Giving you a shout, brother. Today I woke up 50 years old, man. Yeah, it's my birthday. I'm actually flying to Chicago tonight, taking my entire family to go see the Bulls play the Heat. But I wanted to give you a shout, man. I'm giving you a call. I don't even know if you need to play this or not, but I wanted to give you a personal shout. I know we ain't never met, but I wake up to you every day, bro. You've been a presence, and I just want to say a positive one, man. Even today with your optimistic Bulls takes, which I agree with every single one of. I just want to say, man, you've been doing an excellent job, bro. You got me through some real tough times, and some, we've gotten through together through some of these Bulls lean times, man. So I just want to give you a shout on this day. I've been a Bulls fan now for 50 full years of my life, and as a black man from the south side of Chicago, that's an achievement, bro, and I'm proud of it. So I just want to say, man, thank you for doing what you do, brother, and let's get the rest of this year going and this season going, and we're going to get it. So keep it up, and to the rest of y'all, if you do to play this, like I said in my last voicemail, hold your heads, man. We're good, y'all. The young-ass team, we got nothing but upside coming. So bless up, see red. We'll talk.
First off, happy 50th, brother. I'm sorry that you flew your family out to see that absolute massacre last night against the Miami Heat. You deserve better on your birthday. I'm sorry the Bulls didn't deliver that to you. But thank you for your support. Thank you for the love for the channel and the continued support of the channel. It means more than any of you guys ever know, the support that we get here. This team is young, and this team does feel like it finally is. It has a direction that it's locked in on, and we're not perfect at all by any stretch of the imagination yet, but it does feel like we have a direction that we're locked in on, and now we got to see how we can develop outside of that, right? But thank you, Todd. Thank you for the love, as always, brother. All right, let's get into the next one, man. This one's from Jeremy.
Hey, what's up, Haize? It's your boy Jeremy down here in Oklahoma. But yeah, our cardiac bull situation, I'm not gonna lie, last night I thought it was over. But hey, give Vooch props. Me and my son were texting each other. We went from, we hate Vooch, he doesn't fit, to, feed Vooch. But anyway, I definitely think we need a younger center. Hopefully Collins helps when he comes back. But I think a lot of our issues right now is just due to the guys, Coby's not starting. He just got back. But, I mean, they're still getting used to each other, kind of like Corn said, and shout out to Corn. But I think it'll improve, hopefully when Collins comes back as well. But, we definitely got to solve that, giving up the lead issue. So hopefully once Coby's in the starting lineup, Trey's back, Collins is out there. Hopefully a lot of that will solve itself, I guess you'd say. But other than that, great show, man. See Red. It's going to be a fun year, so buckle up.
The slow starts are absolutely killing this Bulls team, bro. I mean, there's no other way around it. The slow starts are killing us. The fourth quarters are killing us, and they have to find a way to stop it. And I am looking, if you couldn't tell by my opening rant, I'm looking at coaching, at finding the way to fix this. They have to figure out what to do, whether it's a lineup thing, whether it's a schematic thing, whatever it is. You cannot be a team that is going to go far and even make it out the play-in if you cannot avoid slow starts and bad finishes. You can't have both. Some teams aren't great starters, but they're great finishers. And that's where the Bulls were last season, for example. We were one of the best fourth quarter teams in basketball. We're not that this season, and that's a little bit of a concern for this team as well. I'll dive more into that on Sunday's mailbag episode. I want to see how this Washington Wizards game goes first, and then I'll give the fourth quarter numbers. But we got to be better. They have to be better, and let's hope that they will if they want to salvage this season. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today, man. This one's from Sean.
What up, Haize? Sean from Virginia here. Love the show. Been listening for about 6 months now. You do good work, man. I love Coby White being back. I think that him being back when he comes back and is integrated in the starting lineup will help these Bulls figure out how to close the games, because you're getting better shots for Okoro and Modest, like you said. But what do you think? Have a good one.
I'm hoping Coby helps the Bulls start and finish games better for sure. I'm not saying that it's all on Coby to fix it, but but like you alluded to, the getting easier shots for Modest and Okoro and stuff like that, right? And having somebody that can get a bucket when kind of the offense breaks down, that's going to be important for this Bulls team. And Coby has the chance to do that. And his presence is going to help this team a lot. And I think he's shown that in his first 2 games back also. So, I think last night's game is different against the Miami Heat if Coby's in there. Don't know if we still win that game, but I do think it's a lot different. We have to be guarded different when Coby White's out there, and that makes a big part of all that also. So let's see what the Bulls do. Let's see if they come back out in this game with better energy against the Wizards, and let's hope that we can get it done. But that's my time for today, guys. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Slow starts, defensive issues, coaching questions. The Bulls have real problems, but they have some real bright spots like Ayo Dosunmu, Josh Giddey, Coby White, right? We'll see if the Bulls can bounce back on the second night of a back-to-back, and whether Coby's presence can help kind of avoid some of the things that we heard last night. But I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you ready if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.